Housing is going to be a challenge. Florida has already said they're going to go away from property taxes. Very interesting. Um, Property taxes are technically not legal for individuals. For corporations, they are. Corporations that have big buildings, I see them going up around here, and I say, "What are these idiots doing?" We've had booms in construction of buildings here in Northern Virginia a number of times, and a lot of very wealthy people went bankrupt. And that was in good times.
Retired Lieutenant Colonel Tom Lennox, why don't you close out the broadcast with us and give us your views and opinions about do you think there'll be a correction in the markets? Will it be a controlled demolition? Will it be propped up? What's your views on that subject and gold and silver's potential growth during this period of time?
I do not believe that the market will be propped up. I believe that there are certain companies that will continue to survive. I just watched that Warren Buffett sold off almost everything he owned. What does that tell you? It
Yep.
tells you that he's worried about the market. He sold off Bank of America last week. He sold off a
Wow.
whole bunch of his other stuff couple weeks and months ago. Um, I think that there will be a drop in the marketplace. I don't think it will be the catastrophe of 1929, but I think there will be a significant drop. Uh, I think if you are an investor, gold, silver, palladium, platinum, copper, interesting I say copper, but copper. Uh, I drink out of a copper cup. If you look at history, 2,000 years ago, they drank out of copper cups because it's healthy.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yes.
But when we look at those things that have limited supply in the ground, that's where the investments got to come. For those who've got significant holdings in the stock market, if they're old line blue chip companies, if I were looking at Germany, I would say the Krupp company, for example. Um, if I'm looking at the United States, I'd probably say General Electric, but not because of electricity, but because even if we have free energy, there's got to be some stuff that's going to go into making that work in my house or my car or whatever. They're going to be there. They build they build train engines. They do a lot of things. If I'm looking at defense contractors, mm, I might have some questions because some of them are being accused of trafficking children and a bunch of other stuff. Um, so I would be very careful in the stock market. I think there are companies that will survive. I think the big automobile manufacturers will probably do very well because they're going to switch over to flying cars over the next 15 to 20 years. Um, so, yeah, there'll be companies that will survive, just like there were in 1929. I think a lot of the internet companies may disappear because the internet's going to change significantly when we go to QFS. Uh, we just have to be careful. My opinion on the market. On housing and land, uh, housing is going to be a challenge. Florida has already said they're going to go away from property taxes. very interesting. Um, Property taxes are technically not legal for individuals. For corporations, they are. Corporations that have big buildings, I see them going up around here, and I say, what are these idiots doing? You know, we've had booms in construction of buildings here in Northern Virginia a number of times, and a lot of very wealthy people went bankrupt. And that was in good times. I don't think
Mm.
there's a big market for office space in these big
Yeah.
cities. I just don't think it's going to
Mhm.
be there. So it's going to be very interesting to watch. I agree that
Yeah.
we're going to go back to the land. I've talked about what I want to do.
Yes.
Back to the land, growing all organic food, having the sheep and the children and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, the land will be important. Housing market's going to be very interesting. You know, a condominium that sells for $400,000 today, I don't think it'll be worth $35,000 in 2 years
Why is that?
because the value of the condominium is in a building that sits on land that does not belong to the individual. So there's
Mhm.
10 units in a condominium building. Uh, I just don't think there's going to be $400,000 worth of value in 1,000 square foot condominium.
Okay.
I just
Yes.
don't see it. You know, that's why I
Mhm.
sold mine because I
Well,
don't
thank you.
see,
Yeah, go ahead. Mhm.
and land is going to always have value.
Yes.
Good land, and I don't even think it's got to be good land. It can be hunting land, it can be farming land, it can be land that might have minerals under it. You don't know. We don't know.
The global financial reset is underway and happening now. The battle rages on with competing parallel systems. The current deep state Federal Reserve Central Bank system and the system President Trump and team has developed. While the dawning of the golden age is upon us, we are presently in the danger zone through the reset transition.
Join me and my prominent guests every Wednesday live at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on JMC Broadcasting's backup Rumble channel on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Sign up for JMC's free weekly war report, including notifications of when the Global Financial Reset Show is published. The future is bright, and it belongs to us, not to the global elite.
Global Financial Reset. Only from JMC Broadcasting.